I know, it's been a while, but you don't need to yell. With all of the things happening in the US right now, I kind of just needed to take a break and a little breather to collect myself and really take my time with making this video. And even though things feel really dark right now, I hope this video and any other videos on my channel make you smile and forget about all the bad happening, even just for a little bit. I have been a notorious girl group girly since age 6. Girl groups are serious business to me. So when I look back at the concept of Fifth Harmony, sometimes I sit down and think to myself, what was this? And with the very random Fifth Harmony reunion we had last year, I thought it would be fun if we did a little retrospective at the absolute chaos that was this group. As much as Fifth Harmony felt like a fever dream that just didn't feel real, I also feel that way about my personal life. I don't know, sometimes I have to pinch myself because I can't believe where my life is now, but there was a point in time where I felt really lost and I was in a career that didn't fulfill me. I'm sure you guys know the feeling I'm talking about, dreading getting up in the morning for work, dozing off during meetings because deep down, you just don't care. And the worst feeling in the world is the Sunday scaries. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Trying to get through the day when the work I was doing felt like an absolute chore was one of the hardest times of my life because deep down I knew there was just something else that I was meant for. And when I finally found that passion with making these videos, that dread that I used to feel turned into constant excitement. So rather than just sitting and accepting the same routine as your reality, you can choose to get up and start building towards something better, which is where today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, can help you through your next career chapter. Southern New Hampshire University is one of the largest accredited universities in the United States with some of the most affordable online tuition rates in the nation. With SNHU, you can gain real-world experience to make yourself really stand out, and you can transfer up to 90 credits towards a bachelor's degree. And not just for prior college, you can get credit for military, other work, and life experiences too, which can help you finish your degree faster and for less money. And what's really great about the programs there is that they're super flexible. There's no set class time, so you can work at your own pace. SNHU aims to transform lives by expanding access to education through high quality, workforce relevant, and meaningful learning experiences, which is all you can ask for from a university. SNHU has all kinds of degree programs for you to explore, from healthcare to business, so the world truly is your oyster. I've been getting into photography and videography a lot lately, so seeing that SNHU has a digital photography degree is just a match made in heaven. I am a firm believer that it is never too late to start pursuing something you love, so take this as your sign to start. You can click the link in my description or go to snhu.edu/Aishah to explore over 200 degree programs and find your path forward. And thank you so much to SNHU for sponsoring today's video. Before discussing the eras, we do need to talk about the X Factor days because from the very beginning, the girls were deeply unserious. I don't need to go on a huge thing about how they came together. They all auditioned as solo artists and didn't make the cut, so Simon said, let's put the 5 of them together.
The judges asked me to call the following people back to the stage: Camilla Cabello, Rally Brooks, Dinah Jane Hansen, Normani Hamilton, Lauren Brady.
Ali, go and stand over there with the girls. What do we have here? You are all, look at them, as you are, invited to the judges' home.
The amount of times I've watched this video as a teen is very unhealthy. This was the most important video of my life. Actually, the most important video to me was the hour-long video about their X Factor journey. That was cinema. We don't have time to go through all the ups and downs of X Factor, so we're just gonna touch on the important stuff. When they first got together, the first name they came up with was Lilas, which stood for Love You Like a Sister. It's a good thing we changed it. These girls went through the trenches on the show. Ali's grandma passed away during one of the weeks and she still had to perform. The performances that they did were pretty good. They got on that stage like their lives depended on it. The one that really sticks in my brain was their cover of Impossible.
Tell them what I hoped would be impossible.
That one hit all the feels, guys. But Anything Could Happen is the one that put them into superstar status. I love everything about this one. The dramatic lights, their fluffy dresses, and even Camila's big ass bow. Seriously. Where did she find that? Anytime You Need a Friend is also up there. You won't be forgotten. But Demi Lovato was being real messy when she said this.
Demi, who was the one that clicked for you? Oh, they should figure that out on their own. I'm not gonna say it right now. And I think they should know so they know how to work better together.
We're gonna finish off the X Factor days with that one time that Britney Spears was very confused as to how they won the round.
The first step through to next week's grand finale is Fifth Harmony.
She was not convinced here. We all know how they ended the show. They came in third and signed with Simon Cowell's record label and then got to work immediately on the World Takeover. The Better Together era was their very first one, and even though it was only an EP, the girls pulled out all the stops here. We all remember where we were when they released the first single, Miss Movin' On. Disney commercials were never the same. They had Rue 21 clothes, an empty amusement park, and a dream. I think this music video perfectly encapsulates the vibe for this era. Cute, girlhood, we don't need boyfriends because we have each other kind of essence. Miss Movin' On was the only official single for this era, but it has nothing on the promo single. There's a lot I could say about this one. They knew what they were doing when they released this in summer 2013. 12-year-old me was so excited. This music video is still in their top 3 of all time. I love the colors, the fun sleepover concept, and every single time they said booty popping. Listen, you either get it or you don't. This was the time period when the girls were in grind mode because they performed at every single mall they could get their hands on. Part of the Popstar Foundation in the 2000s and the early 2010s was doing a mall tour, and I can only imagine what was going through the minds of people that were just minding their business shopping when they saw this. I appreciate the work that was done here because how can I not talk about the YouTube covers for this era? The second you saw them sitting down with some microphones and some guy was strumming his guitar, you knew they had another hit video on their hands. Seriously, every single song cover they did got millions of views. They were the chosen ones. What makes the Better Together era have its own identity compared to the rest was the amount of compilation videos of the girls not liking each other. It seemed like every single week there was a new one with millions of views where the girls were in absolute chaos. The one that I remember so vividly is the one where they did like an interview with Little Mix, and you can see the complete contrast between the dynamic of Little Mix and Fifth Harmony.
What's the pettiest argument you've ever had?
It was the shower.
It was the shower.
That's pretty petty.
Yeah, it was really petty. We were getting in the shower, and it was supposed to be 5 minutes per girl for a shower, but I took longer than 5 minutes.
So long. But I went at the time that I wasn't supposed to. I was supposed to go fourth.
So we
and I
ended
went,
up
like,
getting in the
second.
shower together.
Yeah.
They needed their own Netflix comedy special. So the EP comes out October 2014. It does way better than anyone expected, so their team was just throwing anything at the wall. Literally a month after the EP was released, they dropped Spanish versions of the EP. My girls were multifaceted, okay? They were everywhere. They even opened for Demi Lovato on her Neon Lights tour with Little Mix, and whoever came up with that decision, you deserve an award. The Better Together era was probably the last time that they operated like a proper girl group, you know, harmonizing flawlessly, performances in sync. But the Reflection era is where things got fun. The Reflection era started a year after Better Together, but it low-key feels like 3 because the girls look so much older here. This was 1000% because their team was over-sexualizing them with provocative clothes and songs, but what's new? I'm spoiling a little bit, but I love the Reflection era so much. It is my favorite album from them because the songs are so good. They came out swinging from the very beginning when they dropped the teaser for the first single. When I first saw this video, nothing else in the world mattered. This was an event. Now, for the actual song we got here,
Every day is payday, swipe my card, then I do
you know, sometimes I can say, oh, it was 2014, this was trendy, but There's no excuse for this. What does this mean? I will say the girls looked good in the music video. Big hair, the white two-piece set, better choreo. I am a sucker for loud female empowerment songs. I love when Allie yells. So July 14th was the first single, and 3 months later they come out with the anthem of all anthems.
If you could take my pulse right now.
I still listen to this song on a monthly basis. Y'all already know I gravitate towards anything that's dramatic. I think what I love most about this video is Dinah and Normani's hair. I begged my mom to let me dye my hair blue because of this look. That's impact. It is very apparent that Camila is now 100% positioned as the main girl of the group. The cameras were constantly on her. She was always in the center in the music video. Even though Dinah and Lauren had the strongest vocals and Normani was the performer, but what can you do? There were some promo singles before the album, Them Girls Be Like, Reflection, We Know, and Going Nowhere, which we'll talk about them later, but I need to give a shout out to We Know. Now that's a song.
Won't believe a thing you say this time. All the other girls told me how you play your game. Yeah, we know all about you.
See, when the girls just sit down and focus, they can really put out music excellence. They weren't the it girls on the block yet because even though they had a strong charting presence, it just wasn't sticking yet. But January 2015, they said that's enough. We're here to stay. This song is just as iconic as it is annoying. I also have a bone to pick with the stylist because who chose these outfits? Why do they look 35 years old? And we will talk about how young they all were here. I'm pretty sure Dinah was around 17 or 18 at this time, talking about jail to their team. But clearly it worked because this was a song to put them on the map. The music video had over 1 billion views on YouTube. It went top 5 in the US for several weeks. You could not escape this song. Rappers featuring on pop songs, specifically with girl groups, was really big in 2015. But why out of all of them did you choose Kid Ink? Not a drag, just an observation. So a week after Worth It came out, they dropped the album, and my God, they did their big one here. The album had more of an R&B pop feel with 90s production, but 2015 lyrics. At the time, it felt so innovative. Even though I really like this album, you can definitely tell what year it came out. Not in a bad way, though. From the Tyga feature on Like Mariah, which, whose idea was that? And the It Gets Better anthem with Meghan Trainor, but hey, I like being told that I can shake like Shakira. Title tracks for an album are always really, really good, but to have yours start with this.
I must confess, you're looking fresh.
So fresh.
Yep, I'm impressed. Go ahead and flex.
Turn up.
This era was very chaotic, including the tour, because the girls don't have a serious bone in their body. The choreo was all over the place, the outfits were questionable, and Allie doing random cartwheels in the back. Bless Allie for keeping the showmanship on the group on her back. The best way I could describe Fifth Harmony shows would be a circus. You're going to be entertained, but don't expect structure. My absolute favorite thing that they did during this era was the cover of Uptown Funk.
This hit that ice cold, Michelle fight for that white gold.
It was one of the few things that they really got their shit together on. Using this to announce their upcoming tour is exactly the kind of behavior I expect from them. And Dinah in this music video is the reason I wanted a Jersey shirt so bad. This was a look. I'm all for collaboration, but there was a lot going on here. Jasmine V had a verse, Mahogany Locks from MagCon, and don't get me started on this guy. He pissed me off so bad with his part.
Take a wise side before we leave. Let me show y'all this up.
Yeah, I didn't talk about the Cameron ship. That was a really big thing during this time, and it's because I don't want to, because it was weird. Overall, I would give the Reflection era 7.5 out of 10. You would think that with every new era, the outfits would be getting better and better, but that was never the case here. Their stylist hated them. This is physical evidence that they weren't a girl group, but rather some kind of money laundering scheme. But the 727 era was very different from the others. It felt bright, brighter, colorful, and summery. It was very on brand for the tropical pop sound of 2016. At first glance, you might think to yourself, why is the album called 727 if they released it on May 27th? Well, the number 727 refers to the day that Fifth Harmony was formed on X Factor, July 27th, 2012. I don't like how dated this video looks. I could have sworn this was 5 years ago. The antics from this era weren't as chaotic as Reflection or Better Together, but they were still fun. I have so many questions here, but we don't have enough time for that. One of my personal favorites is Dinah flinging a chair while hitting a very difficult note. I'm sorry, I can't. I really need someone to tell me what song she was singing because to this day, I have no idea what it is. February 26, 2016, they released the lead single Work From Home, and the world was never the same again. I don't know, I think they kind of predicted the future here. They told us we were all gonna be working from home. At one point in time, I tolerated the song, but hearing it everywhere from the school bus to my local H&M has scarred me for life. Out of all of the collabs they've done with male artists, this one is top tier. Ty Dolla $ign really did his thing here. Give him a verse, the song will hit every time. Well, not every time. Another shot, you coming home with me. I also really like the music video here. They took the work concept very literally. The girls are at a construction site being construction workers, but they're not really doing their jobs. One of my favorite choreo breaks from the girls comes from this music video. It really goes in here. Having Dinah and Normani in the back when they're the best dancers is a choice. As far as the performances go, they would often recreate the concept for this video as the backdrop for their performances. We cannot go on without talking about the hilariously iconic performance on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. Worth It was an absolute beast, but this song, it went up everywhere. It went top 5 in the US for several weeks and multi-platinum, top 20 in multiple countries across the world, and the music video has over 1 billion views on it. They made it. On March 24th, we get the first promo single, The Life. I love this song. Turn that shit up. And what makes this song so much more special to me is Miss Tinashe writing it. I am spoiling a little bit, but Tinashe damn near wrote half of this album. That's why it's so good. This song definitely has that 2016-2017 tropical pop vibe that we couldn't escape from. Very summery. Right after the single and the promo, they released the album. Like, dang, can we hear more songs first? You know how I said Tinashe wrote like half of this album? I wasn't kidding. She has writing credits on That's My Girl, Scared of Happy, The Life. It's almost as if I could recognize excellence back then because these were the songs that I was constantly playing on repeat. This album had more reggae, tropical house, and EDM sounds on it that make it sound very 2016, so replay value-wise, not the best. But some of my favorite songs from them are on this album. I Lied really does something to my spirit when I want a really good cry. But I don't hear people talking enough about No Way. It feels like the very distant cousin to We Know. And there's a reason why We Know is top 3 in their discography. Ride On Me is the second promo single for the era. This was the only promo single to have a music video, and I am so grateful for it. This is probably my 3rd favorite video from them. I love that it starts out with animated versions of the girls and that it's done in black and white. They all look incredibly beautiful here, and this is a first, but every single one of their outfits look amazing. It's not over the top, they aren't doing the most, they're just singing, very girl group-esque. Okay, let's move on to the second single, All in My Head. This song came out May 31st, so perfect for the summer season. I had no business listening to this song at the time because what do you mean climb into my bed? While Work From Home definitely had a more sexier, mature image for the girls, this song makes it explicitly clear that they are talking about getting it on. The Reflection era kind of played with their image a bit in terms of them having a more grown-up feel to them, but it never went too far. But this music video takes it to a whole nother level. They're in swimsuits dancing very erotically on the beach. They had Allie breaking her back on the sand, Lauren running through her hair for dear life, and Camila almost gave herself a concussion trying to shake her ass on the ground. This was all a bit much considering they were only 19 to 21 around this time. very suspicious. Everything about this video screams 2016. The Fetty Wap feature, they hit them folks at the end of the video. Like, why did they do this? But however you look at it, this was Dinah and Normani's video. I loved seeing them get their shine here. It really is a shame how underutilized Normani was in the group because she was always just a clear standout, and everyone from the label to the fans treated her like she wasn't important and that she was disposable. But every single music video, she would constantly steal the show because the camera loves her. One of the best performances they did for this song was when they completely stripped it down and did it acoustically for iHeartRadio.
Flex, time to impress. Come and climb in my bed. Don't be shy, do your thing. It's all in my head.
When the girls wanted to sound in sync, they were very capable of doing that, but it just didn't happen that often. I also will not be talking about whatever this was. On September 27th, we get the final single for the era. I've said it once and I'll say it again. I'm a simple girl. I love women empowerment songs. They're fun to me. This one easily tops Boss because it doesn't sound like a 15-year-old wrote it. This music video is also a very fun one because it had a completely different concept from the others. It was set in a kind of dystopian village that looked like maybe a war had happened, and the girls are dressed in coordinated white outfits, saving people from the rubble like superheroes. This one is bittersweet because it is the very last video to have Camila in it, as she left the group 3 months later to have a solo career. This wasn't super surprising because some of the girls were already starting to do solo features around this time, but Camila did have the biggest hit out of all of them for Bad Things with Machine Gun Kelly, and I'm still scarred from some of the songs in 2016. But the drama around her leaving was very messy. The girls were claiming that she just fled without saying anything, and Camila said that she gave in her 2 weeks notice and told them ahead of time. But either way, the girls said that they would continue on with Fifth Harmony as a foursome, but the trajectory of Fifth Harmony forever changed from this. When it comes to their last era, there really isn't that much to talk about because it felt like a group project that no one wanted to be a part of anymore. I don't feel as connected to this album specifically because this was around the time that I started to check out of the Fifth Harmony fandom, but it is important because it is the only one without Camila on it, and the girls had full creative control on it. On June 2nd, 2017, they dropped the first single for the era, Down. You could tell it was trying to replicate the sound and success of Work From Home, even having a male rapper feature with Gucci, but it just didn't hit this time. The sparkle in their eyes just wasn't there. Yeah, you can tell that the girls just really weren't into it at this point. Something just felt off, but at least the songs were good.
Way too young to be a big cuz one trying to spend my life on the phone with you.
Why we never got this sound again from them is the biggest crime here. Album-wise, it didn't do that well because I think, like me, a lot of people just started to check out of them by 2017, and their label also just didn't promote it that much. I don't think I heard any of the singles for this era until I went to go looking for them myself. There were 2 more singles after the album release, He Like That as the official one and Deliver as the promo. I don't have much to say about the He Like That music video except for the fact that Normani and Dinah is the duo I wish we got more of. They look so good dancing together. If they weren't exceptional dancers, who knows where this group would be. Everything about this era just felt really quick, and we could all just tell that it was coming to an end. Even the fun little group videos they did just didn't feel the same.
Happy Thanksgiving from our family to yours.
May 18th, 2018, Don't Say You Love Me is the last music video they put out to kind of say goodbye to the fans as a group. This was the only thing I actively remember about this era happening in real time, and when I saw it, I felt so sad. After this, they put out a letter on social media saying that they were going on an indefinite hiatus, and we all know what that means. They were never coming back. It's really crazy how much this group did in such a short time span because they were really only active for about 5 years, and they didn't find their groove till maybe their 3rd year as a group, so we only really got 2 years of full world domination. And we have to mention the very random reunion performance they did at a Jonas Brothers concert in August 2025. Was it a perfectly choreographed spectacle to show that they were back and better than ever? No, of course not. This is exactly what I expect from a Fifth Harmony concert, just pure chaos and fun. Since then, nothing has really happened with them. I'm not sure if we're getting an album or a tour, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I will be excitedly waiting to see what they do. But that's all I have for you today on Fifth Harmony. If you like this video, I urge you to go watch my video on Little Mix. We go so much deeper into all of their eras and their time as a group, and it's well over an hour long, so there was a lot of ground to cover there. If this was your first time on my channel and watching a video of mine, I hope you enjoyed the video and come join for more. We have a really good time over here. And for those that have stuck by me for the past year, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.